Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Can you guys hear me okay? Is everyone doing all right? Everybody doing okay over here? We got a bit of got some things I have to share. One of the most important things I have to share is, let me see here. One of the most important things I have to share is that we made our goal. We're halfway there. We are officially halfway there. All right, we've passed 500. That's the midway point. We already got the part of this that is the watch hours. You guys got me there. You guys got me to the watch hours. Only thing I got to do now is get the subscriptions. We're halfway there. We're celebrating. Okay, you guys want fireworks? You guys want fireworks? We can do fireworks. Let me see. I think I can get fireworks. Here we go. This looks nice. Let me see what we have here. All right. I may have to mute this, but we can get some fireworks. Let me see here. There we go. Now, do I have to sing some Bon Jovi? You guys want me to sing halfway there in celebration? All right, all right. Let me see if I can find this song. This is gonna be terrible. I'm just telling you. I'm not a very good singer, not at all. But for you guys, because you are here, I will humiliate myself to a limit. I don't even remember the lyrics too well, so I got to read this. It goes boom, boom, well, doomba, 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 ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum, wow, 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 wow. You guys remember this song? I don't even know what the song is about. I know they're going halfway there, but I don't know where there is. I should just do the lyrics, right? Tommy used to work on the docks. Union's right on strike. He's down on his luck. Oh, it's not true. So tough. I don't know. Gino works at a diner all day. I'm gonna skip to the. I'm no. I'm not doing this. For love. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is the part I'm willing to do. She says we gotta hold on to what we've got. Doesn't really matter if we make it or not. We got each other, and that's a lot for love. We'll give it a shot. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Oh, living on a prayer. You guys like that? You think I did good? Okay. We're gonna. Okay, one more time. He says it again. Just for you guys. We gotta hold on to what we've got. It doesn't really matter, is it? No, wait. I fucked it up. Let me start over. And put this sideways because my eyes are betraying me. We gotta hold on to what we've got. Doesn't really matter if we make it or not. We've got each other, and that's a lot for love. We'll give it a shot. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Oh, living on a prayer. Living on a prayer. Okay. That's enough shenanigans. That's enough for now. I've humiliated myself. So that's a lie. I enjoyed every minute of it. I really like doing that. Oh my God. I really enjoyed that. I had no idea I would like doing that so much. Y'all bring out the best and the worst in me. Gotta admit it. Okay, I'm sorry for breaking your ears. Show's over. No, don't go home. Okay, the show is just getting started. Okay, we got some news. Like, we got to talk about some stuff. You know what's been happening? Do you guys know what has been happening? Let me explain. Stuff has been happening. Okay. Let's talk about this stuff. I think we should talk about this stuff because it's good stuff. You guys ready? Well, that's funny. I don't hear any audio. Today, more than 20 U.S. Navy warships are patrolling the waters across the Middle East. At CENTCOM, forces continue promoting the regional security. God damn, that's a lot of planes. You see that? What is that first one? Okay, that first one is kind of like an AWACS. That's like kind of like the AWACS that they use on these kinds of carriers. They have some AWACS. I call it AWACS. It has a different name when it's the one on the carrier, but it's basically. Oh, wait a minute. I'm showing the wrong screen. I think I'm showing the wrong screen. Here we go. All right. I want to read it again. Today, more than 20 U.S. Navy warships patrolling the waters across the Middle East. As CENTCOM are patrolling the waters in the Middle East, as CENTCOM forces continue promoting regional security and stability. Last month, U.S. naval warships and aircraft. You see this craft right there? Let me stop it right here. See that one in the middle? That's kind of like an AWACS. It's got a big circular saucer at the top, and that's for radar, and it spins. That's not the big AWACS. I call it AWACS, but AWACS is the big one. That's a smaller one. Probably has a completely different designation. There's a F-18, probably a Growler. Heading off. We got some choppers in here, probably Seahawks. And yeah, that's one of the things that's been going on. All right. Let's see what else has been going off. Oh, I missed. Well, right here, this right. Got some reports here from open source intelligence, and we're going to go over what's been going on. Like, I left the we have a discussion group. I left the discussion group. I had to go grab some packages that showed up for me, grab a bite to eat. I don't even know what's going on. We're about to find out together. So this is like a live reaction. All right, let's see what's been going on. Residents in Akala, Goristan province, northern Iraq, say they heard several explosions, and this is where Akala is. A few minutes ago, the people of Akala heard several explosions from the area of the city. The exact location of the explosion is not yet known, and no official details have been released yet. Some local sources report that several enemy projectiles hit Akteke Akteke Khan Bridge. He was very specific about the bridges because I remember Trump was talking and he was talking about them bridges, wasn't he? Oh, Roman Viking has a theory. Gas leaks. Yes. I'm looking forward to them saying that the boom booms were gas leak. Jen Price is seeing the boom booms. Appreciate you. Yes, I do understand that is a possibility. Look at this. Look at this. Meanwhile, the Islamic regime supporters in Mashhad, Iran, are trying to taunt, and they're saying that they will do bad things. This is they made a sign saying we will do bad things. Very bad. Very, very bad. See over here. Axios. This is an Axios report. So when you hear an Axios report, you got to take it with a grain of salt. Trump told reporters Iran called a short while ago and said they want to make a deal. Yeah, let them call. I don't give a shit. I don't like this language. Him mentioning that, I don't like that. But it's Axios, so I don't believe it. President Trump said the press pool was told to close their windows blinds on Air Force One because these sleazebags are possible threats. One of these sleazebags and a possible threat to Iran. If you go, you go. Perhaps you want to change professions. I don't understand this face. Okay, let me read this shit again. President Trump said the press pool was told to close their window blinds on Air Force One because of these sleazebags and possible threats from Iran. And then apparently he told them, if you go, you go. Perhaps you want to change professions, which is, it is what it is. Reporter. That's what the reporter is saying. If they want to make a deal, why do you think they attack commercial vessels? President Trump. Because they're sort of crazy, to be honest with you. They're sort of crazy. Okay. I'm gonna have to polish up my Trump impressions if we're gonna be doing this more often, because this is like the past hour or two of what's been going on, and he's been doing a lot of shit and he's been talking a lot of shit. So I got to work on it. I'm learning from Nux. I'm learning how to get a good voice impression from Nux. He is my hero. Armin is my mentor. Nux is my hero. So I'm gonna learn from him how to get a good Trump impression going. Reporter, did President al-Shara, I think this is Jalani, we call him the decapitator, make any commitments to you on helping Hezbollah or Lebanon? President Trump, yeah, I'm not going to tell you what he said. He was great. I'm not going to tell you what he said. He was great. All right. President Trump speaks about the strikes on Iran. We just hit them very hard. We hit them 20-1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit them 20. We did it last night, and we did a little something today. And we did a little something today. It was very good, very magnificent. Everybody says it. Reports of strikes on Iran Shah airport in southern Iran, about 200 kilometers from Pakistan. Okay, and there's some smoke there. Black smoke rises from Shogadak, Bushehr province, Iran, amid U.S. airstrikes. All right, let's look at this. Like, I can hear the car. They're obviously in a car. Oh my God! Is Iranian music copyrighted over here? Let me mute that. Oh, I don't want to get any strikes. You got to be very careful about that kind of thing. ABC reporting. I don't trust them either, but here we go. Iran downed 30 U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drones since the start of the war. Officials say. U.S. officials say. Yeah, right. I don't believe you. Big correction. Just double check. And this image is not from tonight. My mistake. I own it. Okay, so here, this is how you know a source is good. They correct themselves. They put it out there. They might have like deleted the old one. Or maybe this was an older image. I don't understand what's going on here, but they do recognize the mistake and own it, and that's nice. I don't understand this. I don't even want to get into this too much. The ceasefire with Iran has at least temporarily they ceased the ceasefire. They have ceased the ceasefire. There is ceasing of the ceasefire. Ceasefire ceased. 4 strikes hit Bumusa Island and Sirik Port. Bumusa, where is Bumusa? Let me see. This is Sirik. Where is Bumusa? Okay. This is Abu Masa. So where is Bumusa? Did they write it wrong? That says Bumusa. That doesn't say Abu Masa. Do they say Bumusa? Is the A silent? What the fuck is going on here? I don't understand. I don't understand. Hi Amber. Hi Richie. Hi everyone. Hi John. Hola. Hola Young. Bienvenido al programa. Okay, so we have a person here with, you know, like I commend the spirit. Can we end this war already and arm the Iranian and take the island? Arm the Iranians and take the island. Let me explain. The thing is, how are you going to do that? Are you just going to drop weapons? How do you make sure the bad guys don't get it? Let's say you tell your guys on the ground where they're got to get it, right? And you drop them, right? And you maybe even use some drones to cover them while they take the weapons. How do you know that they're not being watched by the bad guys and the bad guys can just shoot them as soon as they get close to the weapons and then just take the weapons anyway? Right? Or destroy the weapons with the people trying to get it, right? How do you get the weapons to the people? How do you know that the people are the good guys or the bad guys? What if they don't know what the hell they're doing and they end up killing themselves with a weapon, not on purpose, but they don't know how to you know, how to bound and how to bound and cover, like, how to do, you know, actual maneuvers, how to navigate the battlefield. Like you got to train people. You got to you got to know what you're doing. You can just throw weapons out there willy nilly. But I understand the sentiment and I commend it. Like I would want them to be armed. I just want it to be done responsibly and in a way the IRGC that doesn't get it. Now, if we do like a massive strike campaigns, well, we'll go after every, you know, like you go even after police, you go after every government building, you go after anything that might be military installation, anywhere where they might have equipment, you know, there you have a shot. But you got to be very careful about these things. Okay, IRGC aligned media reporting that retaliation has begun. U.S. and Israeli targets, like they're about to launch. Iran missiles and drone attacks have reportedly started against Israeli and U.S. targets. Okay. For the record, the IRGC hit UAE, Saudi, and Qatari ships. For the record. Who knows if another country is also striking? Okay. This is Bushehr, IRGC Navy base. It's just burning. You guys can see it here. U.S. Air Force strikes reportedly caused significant damage to the Lavon Island refinery. So we're starting to strike refineries. That's where you really make them hurt. Located off Iran's southern coast in the Persian Gulf, this report has not yet been confirmed. So this isn't confirmed, but it's important. Okay, what do we have here? Okay, this is Shohadat. We talked about this before. Shohadat, Bushehr province, Iran has been hit. Okay. We got some video here. I think this is when it hit. Yeah, you can see it right there. Like everything is fine, and boom, boom. You guys see it? You guys able to see it? Okay, this is Shabar Shabahar port in Iran. Shabahar. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. I'm trying. It's an honest try. Islamic regime is now about to retaliate. I bet they are. This is the that looks like an airport because that looks. You see that up there? Wait, let me see if I can pause this. That looks like a control tower. You see that shape right there? It's got some antennas on top. Just the way that this is a very open, very outwardly structure. This right here, this looks like an airport. And Marine Traffic Control Tower at Shahid uh, Beheshti. Okay, the Marine Traffic Control Tower at Shahid Beheshti Pier in Shabahar Port, southeastern Iran. So this is an American Marines. This is their Marines. Looks heavily damaged. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like missing a side. Ongoing strikes in Iran expected to surpass Tuesday operation. Yeah, the scale. They're going harder. Strikes reported so far in Iran, not limited. Shabahar, Konorak, Abu Musa Island, Bushehr, including IRGC barracks, Hormuz, Bushehr province, Sidik, Jask, the airport, Bushehr province, Tuzier Pier in Shabahar, Kalantari Pier in Shabahar, Marine Traffic Control Tower in Shabahar, and Bushehr missile site. Bushehr missile site. Okay, okay. No, I'm not subbing. I'm poor. Close to Bushehr Power Station. Oh. Oh, is that a nuclear plant? I wondered. This must be it. Aaron is asking, hey, what about that power plant? I think this is it. Close to Bushehr Power Plant. That might be the power plant itself. Oh my God, where am I going? No, 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 no. Go back. No, no. There we go. Sorry, guys. Oh, they got a site here. I might check this out. Let me see if I can open it in a window. Let me check this out for you guys. Yeah, this is basically the same as scrolling their Twitter, but without any commercials. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, guys? Are you glad we're hitting again? Did you want us to wait? What are you guys' thoughts on this? Do you guys have any doubts? Do you guys have any questions for me? Anything at all? Like, I will speak on this. The way they made sure people saw a banner offering money to do a bad thing to Trump, I think that pissed him off. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think we were gonna let them bury the guy, the Tupperware container, and we were gonna strike. I think that's we the NATO summit was a chance to meet a lot of people. He said that the only reason he went was to talk to Turkey and talk to some of the people that we can use bases on or have flights come out of. I think that's the whole thing. The real first of all, okay, people are talking about Turkey getting F-35s. That's not gonna fucking happen. But we might float that idea to get them to, like, why would I give you an F-35 tomorrow if you won't let me use your base today. Like, if you won't let me use your base right the fuck now, why would I believe you are good enough to get my F-35 tomorrow? You understand what I'm saying? Congress isn't going to give them shit, but they would have to start. Let's say this is the they'd have to go full auditor to get out of this, right? They would have to, like, Erdogan. I think Erdogan will have to go. Like, if he wasn't in charge anymore, and there was a more secular government, if they went the way that I think, where is it that we have a base? UAE? No, but I don't like them. Who else do we have bases with? I think it's Saudi Arabia. I think we get along a little bit better with Saudi Arabia. I think UAE gets along a little better with Israel, which is a good, like, Abraham Accord type deals. That is a good thing. But I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Let me see. We're going to try to find some more info on this. We're going to try to find the latest news for you. All right. I'm going off the top of the head here, because what I had planned to do was talk about, communism in America. That was like what I was going with. Here we go. From Breitbart News, Trump declares U.S. brokered ceasefire with cuckoo Iran is over. The U.S. president brokered interim ceasefire with Iran is now over. President Donald Trump made declaration on Wednesday, telling reporters at NATO Defense Summit that in Ankara, Turkey, these are evil, sick people, before describing Tehran's negotiators as scum and cancer that needs to be excised. I think that's accurate. I mean, no lies detected. A clearly angry Trump further added he didn't want to deal with them anymore after launching overnight strikes on the totalitarian Islamic Republic after it attacked commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. The Telegraph reports talks may continue, but Trump holds little hope now. Basically, Trump is fucking up. Like, I don't know what. I mean, I think it was an impossible task. He was given an impossible task. All right. I don't see how this is going to work out. Can I get closer on this? Yes. Okay, so 3 commercial vessels were hit. We talked about that. U.S. military launched strikes against Iran over its alleged targeting. Alleged. We know it was them. CENTCOM announces that more than 80 targets were struck, and tonight was supposed to be bigger. So that means tonight it's got to be over 100. Iran military stated that 85 U.S. military facilities in Bahrain and Kuwait were targeted. 85. We have 85 facilities over there. How many bases do we have in Bahrain? Jesus Christ. An MQ9 was reportedly shot down. maybe one. I don't know. I gotta see it. Like I gotta see it to believe it. Everyone agreed, no nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, joke to the press. They said we never talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo. Yeah, they say one thing, and the second they're out the door, they say something else. So that's it on that report from Breitbart. I'm just looking for the latest news on Iran. Al Jazeera. Iran lodges protest at UN. Okay. Iran lodges protest at UN over the latest US attack. Man, fuck y'all. I don't care if you protest. PBS NewsHour, Trump says ceasefire is over. So we have various people reporting that the ceasefire is like literally over. But I want to know. I want to know what you guys are talking about. Okay, let me get into the chat. Like, you guys can't super chat me. Well, you can super chat Armin. If you super chat Armin, I can see the super chats. I'll create a banner here. Can I show this? All right, I'm doing an Ask Me Anything, so you guys can ask me anything about this war. All right, let me go back to the comments. Macron was, there was an attempt on Macron. I'll try to get to that. All right. We're going to go to this guy. I think this is a guy that probably share screen. This is a guy that probably knows that the early bird gets the worm.
NATO summit with a new warning to Iran. The tentative ceasefire is over, the president says, and the agreement between the two nations was a, quote, waste of time.
It seems that the war with Iran may start again. What do you expect from your European allies?
I don't think it's going to start again. I think it's going to go very quickly. They hit a couple of ships, and so we hit them much harder. When they hit, we hit 10 times harder. I think anything that happens is going to be.
I don't like this language.
And we'll only make it safer, including for oil.
Let's bring in retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, former assistant.
You see, Keith Kellogg. When you have a name like Keith Kellogg, I'm gonna think that you're a guy that knows that the early bird gets the worm. Like, you're out there in the morning, especially in the fucking military. To be a general, you got to be up and at 'em. So I'm guessing this guy's gonna be up and at 'em.
To President Trump and former special presidential envoy for Ukraine. So the president at NATO, not in that particular news conference, but an earlier event during the day, said that he pretty much thinks that Iran's going to get whacked again tonight. Listen to what he said.
He was right.
We hit them very hard last night. Very, very hard. Probably hit them hard.
What time is it in Iran right now? Is it daytime or nighttime?
Hard again tonight. I'll give them a little warning. We're going to hit them hard tonight.
So here's the question that I have, because we've been at this for 3 months now. Is it time to stop pussyfooting around with the
This is what I'm saying. Is it time to stop pussyfooting? Oh my God. He said it. Wait a minute. This is Fox. He said pussy, but pussy is also a cat. Pussyfooting, is that playing, with a cat with your foot? I don't know. But they're definitely pussyfooting.
Than I have, because we've been at this for 3 months now. Is it time to stop pussyfooting around with the IRGC and just give them a knockout blow?
Yeah, well, I think, John, it's good to be with you. Yes. I mean, it's clearly yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I think there's really this memorandum, 14-point memorandum, really kind of obfuscated the issue. I'm a big believer in principles of war. One of those is simplicity. I'll make it really simple for you. Number one, we're going to send in the IAEA to get the enriched uranium, if we can get to it, with American advisors. And, oh, by the way, you don't get to get any restrictions. We're going to go where we want to go. Number two, we're going to open up the Strait of Hormuz, and we're going to do it militarily. And if we need to, if they sink a tanker, we'll take your assets, make them fungible, and then we're going to replace those assets that you lost. And number three, we're telling the Iranians, knock it off with the neighbors. You don't attack UAE, you don't attack Qatar.
Okay, over here, Beach Kid says he likes General Keane. Peachy Keen. Yeah, I mean, peaches at the beach is nice. If you're a beach kid, you're going to like Peachy Keen. I get it. I bet they're both good, though. I mean, I'm just going to bet they're both good.
You don't help Hamas or Hezbollah or anybody else. And then they're not. And the other thing is we're not negotiating as equals. Right now, we're treating them as equals. They're not. Arachi's a master negotiator. He's their foreign minister. He wrote the book on negotiations.
He's talking about Aragachi. I think his name is Aragachi. You guys know about Aragachi?
His parents were
the way I say Aragachi, it sounds Japanese, but he's not. He's not.
Rug merchants. They understand. Have you ever tried to buy a rug in the Middle East?
Yeah.
Buy a rug in the Middle East. Apparently, this is like some ancient shit. Okay.
I actually have.
And you basically say, we're done with this. We're tired of it. We're not going to do it anymore, and we're going to finish the job as we should do it. Now, the alternative is, what's he going to do when he does that?
Right. Well, I mean, in terms of buying a rug in the Middle East, one of the things you've got to be prepared to do is if you don't get the price that you want, you got to be prepared to walk away.
That's right.
And does President Trump have to be prepared to walk away from these negotiations and resume kinetic strikes?
Well, I think he does, but I think he's got options he can apply to him.
Okay. High Turban said Trump likes the pussyfoot. He's a pussyfooting expert. Best ever. No one else even close. Okay. Come on now. I mean, maybe. I don't know. There's been some pussyfooting about, but if you got to look at this deal, right? This is what Vance should have done. Come back and say, fuck this. I'm going to agree with Marco here. Let's just bomb them. If there's anyone that's been pussyfooting around, it's Vance, because that was his whole job. Like, you think if Vance comes back and says, look, there's no deal to be had, we can't do this, it's not going to be over? I think the one that's been pussyfooting around is Vance, and unless they're just, I don't know, they were just vying for time and time's up, and they got the time they needed to redeploy whatever they want to redeploy and resupply whatever they want to resupply. I don't fucking get it. Domo Warigato, Mr. Rubato. I think it's Domo Arigato, but I like Domo Warigato because Majordomo means like the not like a waiter, it's like a manservant, Mayordomo. Warigato is like English and Spanish, so Domo Warigato, I kind of like that. Domo Warigato, Mr. Roboto, is what I think when you say that name. Arigachi, yeah, Aragachi. Where else am I streaming? On Armin's stream. On Armin's stream, you guys can super chat me, and you know what? Armin will probably be very, very happy if you super chat him, and I get to read it. And, you'd be supporting the guy that supports me, which is almost the same as supporting me. Irachis, like Apache, Irachi. Monkey, his name is Irachi, like Apache, Irachi. Okay. Then it's not Aragachi. Aragachi must be another guy. I must have the wrong guy. It was like Trump did a foreign policy speech in April 2017, where he referenced knowing when to talk, when to walk away in negotiation. He knows what he's doing. Okay, so your theory is kind of like there's people that have been talking about this. Says, look at what we just did this last week. Like we caught a giant ring of corrupt Iraqi officials in line with the IRGC and confiscated millions upon millions of dollars, destroyed their influence networks. And just to get a lighter sentence and not get their heads chopped off, these people are going to talk. All right. We were also in Lebanon making a deal between Israel and Lebanon and the United States, sitting together at the table. Right. So we're not just sitting on our hands here. Right. At the same time, our sailors need to rest. Our fighter pilots need to rest. You can't just have them 2 months out here, nonstop combat mode and not cycle them out. So we have brought new carriers in, taken some out. Right. So these are all important factors. These people have to see their family eventually. Right. We're not just going to keep them there a year. I mean, those things happen, but we avoid it if it's not necessary. Arachi, okay, Arachi, got it.
Not invading the heartland of Iran. You don't need to do that. But
not invading the heartland of Iran. Of course, we don't want to do that.
I've talked all along about
what up,
taking
Texas?
Strategic targets, be it Kharg Island or be it the islands in the Strait, to do that. And you take those and you apply economic pressure. They don't care if you bomb them back to the dark ages, because they're going to go back and over open fires or ride the camels that they want to do out there. But they're going to absorb those strikes. You have to attack it differently. And I think if they don't attack it differently, they're making a big mistake.
So, President,
yeah, you can't just go into land strikes. I'm going to go run it back a little bit.
Targets, be it Kharg Island or be it the islands in the Strait, to do that. And you take those and you apply economic pressure. They don't care if you bomb them back to the dark ages, because they're going to go back and over open fires or ride the camels that they want to do out there. But they're going to
go back to open fires and camels, but they're not going to quit.
They're going to absorb those strikes. You have to attack it differently. And I think if they...
Oh, this is the true spelling. Kukarachi. Oh, I see what's going on here. That's his name.
Don't attack it differently, they're making a big mistake.
So President Trump has said, a number of times, there's been regime change there. We went through one regime, then another regime, and then another one. And the people we're dealing with now are much...
So here's the thing. We call administrations regimes. Like we kind of got this from the left because people say like the Trump regime, right? But it's just the Trump administration. So if we look at the not the Khomeini, who Khomeini, I think it was Khomeini. I like that's the previous administration, and now we have the Mujtaba administration. Yeah, we changed the administration, but it's still the IRGC. It's still the same regime. Thank you, Texas. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
More reasonable than the ones before. He seems to have had a change of heart. Listen to what he said
kindly.
yesterday.
To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it.
All right.
Yeah, he was talking about, I think it's Khomeini is the name, the Tupperware guy. Like we killed the Tupperware guy, and now we have the Ayatollah. Is he or isn't he?
So I don't see any sign, and I'm sure you don't either, that these leaders are more reasonable than the ones who came before. In fact, they might even be more belligerent. This guy, Vahidi, who's running the IRGC, he's a really, really bad actor, and he seems to now be pulling all the strings.
Well, you look at Ghalibaf, who's in the parliament.
Okay, so I want you to notice a shift. They're starting to know the names. They're starting to. Okay. Texas is bringing up the old guy, that Khomeini. That Khomeini, when he died, that Khomeini had a big funeral. Everybody went to that. No one went to Khomeini, but that Khomeini, oh my God, that thing was full.
He was a brigadier general in the IRGC. They're hardliners. Rashi was a hardliner as well. Yeah. We need to understand that.
Khomeini is two. Which one is Rahula? Because Armin always tell me to call Rahula Khomeini, but Khomeini is Rahula. He tells me to call him Khomeini. So Khomeini's funeral was up. I get them all mixed up. All right.
Theocratic government, and the president needs to understand that they're not going to negotiate on any terms. Don't let them negotiate. Make declarations. This is what's going to happen. You would take it, and there's subsequent events to follow.
Well, it would seem pretty clear that these negotiations are going absolutely nowhere at this point. General, always good to see you. Thanks for dropping
Thanks,
by.
John.
Appreciate it.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox
All
News
right,
latest
all
on
right.
YouTube and catch full
Wait. That's not what I wanted to do. Stop right there. Okay, I got something for you guys. These guys are apparently talking about why they call Iran's leaders cuckoo. These guys, I don't know these guys. First time reacting to them. They're called the
Dana,
Five.
This is starting to feel like a romantic comedy. On again, off again, on. Can't these two just like put a ring on it,
I know how
Iran?
it ends.
Yeah, you know how it ends. Yeah.
It ends with Iran being put away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Trump and NATO make up.
Okay, I know one guy. I know that guy. He's like a funny guy.
That tomorrow.
Who would play Iran? Penelope Cruz?
Go back and see. But we have a block like that coming up pretty soon. Where we
Yeah.
Oh, we know who's gonna play Iran. Does anybody know who's gonna play Iran in any movie? It's Elliot Page.
talk about wokesters. President Trump gave peace a chance. And he said something today in one of the press conferences when he was with Zelensky. And he was talking about assassination attempts on his life and that he is a big target of Iran. And I went back and I read the sentence a couple of times. And
It's got to be Elliot Page, right? Like if there's a movie and anyone's playing Iran, it has to be Elliot Page. Tries to look big and manly, is small and womanly. Not Iran. IRGC. Let's be clear.
I don't know for sure, but it seems to me he must have additional information that they want to continue to try to kill him. And then it's like enough with you. And also he can see.
I don't like this line. Because it makes it look like Trump isn't doing this because it's the best interest of America. Like he's doing it because he's been personally attacked. I don't think that is the reasoning. These people threaten his life every fucking day of his administration. They've had FBI uncover plots. I don't like this line at all.
And they're watching. And during this funeral, he gave them a free pass. You can move about the country. You can have your funeral. And they were doing funny business. And he's like, no more. So he started to go after the small boats that were doing the mines. And then what does Iran do? They track the neighbor. So I think that he is done with the back and forth. He doesn't want to keep dating this way. And he can trust in the United States military to do what.
Well, actually, it's Vance that's doing the dating. You know. In this movie, like Vance would be basically Trump's daughter, and he's dating or she's dating this asshole that is, the IRGC.
It needs to do so that he can move on from this.
And Vance is saying, "No, Dad, I'm gonna make it work." And because everybody knows Vance looks like he has Maybelline without Maybelline. He always looks like he has mascara on. Or eyeliner, or what do you call that? I don't know what you call that. That thing you put in your eye, shadow. I don't know what you call it. But stuff in. He always looks like he got makeup kind of stuff in his eye.
Speaking of the military, Emily, do you think that we're inching closer to going in there? I'm sure the young men and women and the forces are kind of at these bases wondering what's going on.
Yeah, and I think that is a question.
Mascara. Okay. Yes, he always looks like he's wearing mascara.
That a lot of American people have, but the president keeps insisting, essentially simultaneously announcing renewed military escalation while insisting that he does not view this escalation as a return to an open-ended war. And it seems to me that what they're doing is sort of presenting a hierarchical escalation tree and saying there's many steps in between 0 and
Oh, okay. This is not a full ass whooping. This is a quarter. This is an eighth of an ass whooping. We can open the whole can of whoop ass right now. We're like 1/25th of the way open. I don't I don't know what's going on here. I mean, she could be right.
60. This will never be the open-ended war that we have been mired in for decades past, and that this administration won't. And I think
Let me see what Texas says. This whole MOU negation was to appease Americans, showing them the regime won't honor. Okay, yeah, that's one part of it, but I gotta believe the other part of it is that we're reloading munitions. We're changing some of our tech, patrol boats and our defense vehicles into new posturing as directed energy weapons are being given a shot. We are resupplying missiles. We are allowing our troops to rotate. So yeah, Texas says yes. Yeah, we're doing lots of stuff. It's like we're handling lots of different things. And yeah, of course, not only one reason, like multiple layers, but the outward facing layer of the MOU is look, we're trying. We tried. You see us trying. We bombed them. Okay, we tried. First, we tried negotiating. That didn't work. We had to. First, we bombed them in Midnight Hammer. Then, for a year, we tried to negotiate. They kept fucking around. They had to find out. That was February 28th. All right, we hit them. We blockaded them. Now we're back to talking. Okay, we're talking. That's not working. So we're going to have to go back to bombing.
JD Vance also earlier said it when he said, if you attack one of our ships, we're going to knock the hell out of you, right? So they're just simply saying, you tap us.
Okay, I'm going to let this play and check on the side.
We will roundhouse you back. We still have economic options. We still have a ton of military options to all of those varying degrees. I think that the immediate issue for the American people is exhaustion, obviously, safety of our troops, but it's not the Iran's nuclear program. I think it's the Strait of Hormuz. It is the security and freedom of navigation in that strait. So now it seems to me we have more NATO allies on board, obviously not Spain after today, but that will join us in really red rovering linked arms and ensuring that the Strait of Hormuz stays open, because the piracy factor is something.
I want to point out something. Yes. The talking monkey is crazy. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Hi, how you doing? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I'm the guy from school. Yeah. Look, I was inspired by this guy Nuxtaku. He is a person that doesn't really want to have his face out there, but really wants to be able to help and speak on an issue. So I took inspiration from him. He was actually on the show with Goldie and Armin, and he uses what is called a VTuber avatar. This is what is called a PNG tuber. At one point, if I get good enough at this, that I could make myself into a full VTuber avatar, that's the dream, that's the goal. I'm not there yet, but this is how I'm doing it now. This is where the inspiration has taken me so far. So okay, where were we?
Obviously not Spain after today, but that
obviously not Spain. We're cutting off Spain. I sounded like Nuxtaku. I love that guy. I love that. You guys know, on my off time, I'm watching him. I'm actually in his chat from this account and from my old account, because he kind of recognizes the old one. And we're talking all kinds of stuff. He's someone I look up to. So yeah, no, we're having problems with Spain, and Spain is having trouble with Spain. The Sanchez government in Spain is having a lot of trouble. His brother is in trouble, his wife is in trouble. Spain's got some problems. Spain was talking mad shit, right? But Spain's got problems. We're about to cut them off completely.
That will join us in really red rovering linked arms.
Oh my God. I hadn't thought of that. Dirty Sanchez. Yes, Dirty Sanchez.
And ensuring that the Strait of Hormuz stays open, because the piracy factor is something that everyone can feel. I think the fact that Iran will fight to the death and has no interest in self-preservation other than a latent spark that can then erupt later to bomb us all, that's their issue. Our issue is Strait of Hormuz.
Harold, should we bomb Spain?
I mean,
I'm not for bombing Spain, but let me build on the points that
Sure.
Emily was making. I think that the president, unfortunately, has lost a lot of leverage over the last few weeks. In June, late June, President Trump said that this regime was a different regime, that he looked at a group of people that he could do business with, that he thought would usher Iran into a new era of prosperity. Less than 4 weeks later, he's calling them scum.
yes, they're full of shit. He figured it out. They're full of shit. But you know what? A month ago, we might have needed the time to refill the munitions. A month ago, we might have needed the time to rotate out the truth. And we may have been talking a lot of shit so that we could lay down what is known as the fog of war. So you got to take that into account. I'm sure he's going to say, oh, well, what changed? What changed? We got ammo now, motherfuckers. That's what changed. You like tequila? I got your taquillas, cabrón.
Cuckoo, loco. I think what the president is learning, and this is
You know, in Spanish, taquilla means tickets. Like if you're going to the movies, you're saying you got the tickets to the movies, tú tienes las taquillas para la película. You know what I'm saying? La taquilla means like the tickets. It's also what we call kilos of cocaine, but that's just because you do that. Oh, you got the tickets to the concert. Like, you know, if you're talking to a thug, that probably doesn't mean tickets to the concert. You understand what I'm saying? But yeah, taquilla means tickets to us. So it's kind of funny. I got your fucking tickets.
where I differ with you, Emily. I think that the issue here is the enriched uranium. And as we sit here today, remember, before we started this military effort, President Trump and Secretary
Taquitos. They got taquitos. Oh my God. Like I'm not Mexican, but I do like Mexican food. Like Puerto Rican food is more rice centered. We love rice and beans, and pork chops, rice and beans, and we really love pork. Like we really love, like Puerto Ricans, we love pork. It's a very pork centric island.
Hegseth came before the country and said that the Iranians were days away from obtaining a nuclear weapon. And that was one of the reasons that justified us moving like we moved, which I supported. Now, I don't know what has changed in the last 60 days. I know we launched an incredible.
You thought Mexico was everything south of Texas, including the Gulf Islands? Yes. Everything south of Puerto Rico is Mexico. Yes. Puerto Rico would be America. So, yes. Oh, my God. Somebody knows what's up. Mofongo.
Military attack, but they still seem to have some.
A comer pastel, a comer lechón, arroz con gandules, y a beber ron. That's our Christmas. We got, oh, my God. We got mofongo, we got pasteles. Mofongo we can eat year round. Let's be real. But mofongo is like a food made of plantains that are smashed, reconstituted in a certain shape, and then fried. Like it's kind of complicated. I don't really know how to cook it. I just know how to eat it.
Military capabilities. And to your point, Emily, where you're right, the Strait of Hormuz, we need not kid ourselves. The Strait of Hormuz is controlled by the Iranians. If it were not,
let's go back a little bit.
That the Iranians were days away from obtaining a nuclear. Less than 4 weeks later, he's calling them scum, cuckoo, loco.
Okay, I'm going to make you a confession. This is a confession. I don't really like bananas. I don't like banana smoothies. Yeah, but there's one type of banana that I do like. So when I'm asking for bananas in the chat, it's a very specific type of banana. It's banana clips. I love banana clips.
I think what the president is learning, and this is where I differ with you, Emily, I think that the issue here is the enriched uranium. And as we sit here today,
Okay, el pollo loco. Yeah, the thing about the enriched uranium is that it was our raison d'être. Do you know what the raison d'être is? Our reason for action. Like this was our basically our legitimate excuse, our clear and present danger, right? So here's what it is. When we went to action, we know just some things from what they admitted, what we know from what Israeli intelligence has, from what even the Qataris and the Omanis and the Saudis know, because the Saudis, they wanted, oh my God, we're gonna get a banana. Oh my God, bananas in the chat. Oh my God. Oh, you're gonna make a prepper out of me with all these bananas. All right. The kind that last, But like one of the things that was happening is that we saw a clear and present danger, and later evidence proved that we were right. Like what's right now undeniable is that at the time of our strike, we now know that they had ballistic missiles that can reach Europe. How was this proved? Because they had ballistic missiles that could reach Diego Garcia. And to reach Diego Garcia from Iran, that's a far place. That's not near. That's all the way in the Indian Ocean. So if you can reach the Indian Ocean from Iran, you can reach Europe. So one of the things that led us to strike was the fact that they could hit Diego Garcia. We knew it ahead of time. People said, well, they're not a clear and present danger. Lo and behold, they attacked Diego Garcia. We were right. We were right. We did have to worry about Europe. Another thing that was clearly outlined was that they had enough material. I think it was to be 9 or 11 bombs. I'm not sure. They had enough material for 9 to 11 bombs. They weren't all the way to nuclear, but they were definitely close enough at 60% where you could make a dirty bomb. We do know that now. That's the material that stuck. So what facts do we have now proven? We have a proven fact that at the time that we attacked, they had ballistic missiles that can reach Europe. We have proven fact, admitted by them, admitted by everyone, they had enough material to make 11 bombs. Like, let's say you're not taking it all the way up to a nuclear, what you're not trying to even make a nuclear reaction, you're just trying to contaminate. Right? You're just making dirty bombs. You're just exploding this radioactive material all over the place. Now, another thing we know for a fact is that they have cluster munitions. A cluster munition is that bomb that at the last seconds turns into many small bombs. Now, let's say you hit a European nation with a cluster bomb, and that cluster bomb is of nuclear material. It's not actually a nuclear reaction, but it's enough nuclear material to contaminate and irradiate, some field, some cities in a way that is actually detrimental to the environment, to the people. You know what? That's clear and present danger. I think that's why the nuclear dust keeps getting mentioned, because it was our whole reason to start, and we can't leave without it.
Remember, before we started this military effort, President Trump.
I think that would be radiological bomb. I think biological bombs are an even greater danger. Like if Iran, you know why I think Iran doesn't do biologicals? Because we would go in. I think that's why. I think that is so no, but if they were doing like a nerve agent, like a ballistic nerve agents, if they were doing ballistic biological contaminants, which are easier to do and cheaper to do than these nuclear bombs, if they did that in Israel, if they did that in Saudi Arabia, right? If those drones were full of viruses and, I don't know, airborne, Ebola, whatever you want, if they had the T virus from Resident Evil on those drones and they started like hitting, putting the COVID in the drone and trying to smack people and get it airborne, if they did that, oh, buddy, it would be over. They want something that's a big threat, but not cause enough damage to make the reaction so immediately that they might get literally nuked. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If they try to create some kind of biological deadly agent, some nerd gas, some crazy agent that's gonna kill a whole bunch of Israelis, the Israelis are gonna fucking nuke them. And they don't want to go that far because they don't, they're not that crazy. Maybe the streets are crazy, but the turbans, the suits, and the boots aren't that crazy. That's why they don't even try with that shit.
Trump and Secretary Hegseth came before the country and said that the Iranians were days away from obtaining a nuclear weapon. And that was one of the reasons that justified.
Look, Joliet, I'm a man of my word. And at the beginning of the stream, because we're halfway there, I sang a little Bon Jovi. I did a little, oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. It was, look, I had to pretend for a little while that I was embarrassed, but I couldn't even, put that mask up for very long. I gotta admit, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But we are past 500. We're halfway there, baby.
Us moving like we move, which I supported. Now, I don't know what has changed in the last 60 days. I know we launched an incredible military attack, but they still seem to have some military
Y'all got
capabilities.
jokes.
And to your point, Emily, where you're right, the Strait of Hormuz, we need not kid ourselves. The Strait of Hormuz is controlled by the Iranians. If it were not, then gas prices would not have been as high as they were during the time of the war.
Okay, so here is the problem. The Strait of Hormuz is being controlled by the Iranians. No. You know why? Because oil doesn't care about war. Oil cares about supply. That's what oil cares about. Oh my God, how has it stayed at 70? How is it still under 100? How did it never go over 100 or didn't go over 100 for a day? How did it keep itself between 75 and 85 the whole fucking time? How did they do that? How did that? Because oil don't give a fuck about war. It cares about supply. As long as we've been pulling tankers out in the dark and dumping all that oil out, the market doesn't care because the supply is fulfilled. Yes, basically yes. But here's the larger point. At the beginning of the war, it's maybe for a week, it was controlled by the IRGC. But as soon as we started pumping that oil out and getting those ships out in secret, we dumped so much of that oil into the market because it was like, how many was it? Like 2,000 ships stuck? As soon as we started dumping that oil into the market, this price stayed down. Like even if you're not letting insurance companies in, you're pulling so much oil out that it doesn't matter, right? And then with the blockade, what did the blockade do? Well, if you were selling from the Saudis, if you were selling from the Qataris, if you were selling for anywhere else, you could get through. Did they mostly do it at night? Yes, they mostly did it at night. Oh, ooh, the hard truth. Okay, so you're talking about a correction in the market. Like when a Bitcoin is too high and then it comes back down to somewhere reasonable, then starts pumping back up. Like I bought Bitcoin at, I think it was 37 at the time. And then it went all the way up to 100. And I was like, this is crazy. I think I sold around 90 and now it's down to 67. Like, don't, this is not stock advice, guys, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like it's due for a correction. Oil was due for a correction. Boy, did it correct.
War, and they certainly would not be rising as we sit here today. I think the president's faced with something you were talking about earlier, Greg. He's faced with the proposition of, do you send military troops or do you enlarge our military, much like General Keane has repeatedly said on our network. Whenever you're trying to negotiate with the Iranians, they're different than the Abraham Accord negotiations. These are the worst negotiators, the most vicious, pernicious, not the people, but the regime.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like that. Not the people, but the regime.
I think the president, I've said it many times before, stop talking so much. There's no need to tell people at a NATO conference in the morning that you're going to attack them this evening, then come back and kind of back off of it in the afternoon. If you're the Iranians, and I'm not, if you're advising the Iranians, nor would I, you would have to think that they'd be saying, you know, we kind of have him where we want him. He wants this war over because he knows it's hurting him politically. We have an opportunity to prolong this. We can continue to be agitators in the Strait of Hormuz, and he will have to respond. Our leverage and our strategic security, I'm not convinced, and maybe someone around the table can convince me, that we have advanced that more than we did after Operation Midnight Hammer. I was on the president's side. I still am on his side. I think we need to actually engage in more military action there because it is clear that is the only thing these people understand if we're going to get an end that ends the uranium enrichment as well as keeps the Strait of Hormuz open for world commerce.
Yeah, I think, Paul, like when you see that shift in rhetoric with Trump, it's all comes down to reciprocity. He'll say good stuff about you until he doesn't see something in return, and then you're scum.
Yeah.
But Harold said a lot of good stuff there.
I think Harold's take is quite reasonable. And let me say also that, Dana, I think that you are right over the target. Sorry for that metaphor, but he refused, that is, Donald Trump refused to take his famous Air Force One Qatari gift plane home from Turkey. All right. Why? Does he fear there's a transponder in there or something that he feels was secreted by the Qataris that the Iranians could launch a missile at? I don't know, but he's got this big, beautiful plane that we've heard a lot.
Flew it over there, though.
Yeah.
Look, these guys are talking a lot of shit. I'm going to break this down.
More than we did after Operation Midnight Hammer. I was on the president's side. I still am on his side. I think we need to actually engage in more military action there because it is clear that is the only thing these people understand if we're going to get an end that ends the uranium enrichment as well as keeps the Strait of Hormuz open for world commerce.
Yeah, I think, Paul, like when you see that shift in rhetoric with Trump, it's all comes down to reciprocity. He'll say good stuff about you until he doesn't see something in return, and then you're scum.
Yeah.
But Harold said a lot of good stuff there.
Look, here's the thing. This is another attempt to make, and I understand where it comes from because it can be perceived like that. But like what I would say is, well, what's the difference between a month ago and now? Why are they scum now? Because we already resupply. Because we done fucking rotated out the troops we had to rotate out. Because we finished some of the operations we had going on in Iraq. Because we finished some of the operations we had going on in fucking Lebanon. Because we let these people alone long enough to contact all their people on the outside. And by allowing them to contact all the people on the outside, we traced all their lines to the outside. So now we are finding them in the Lebanon. So now we are striking them in Yemen. So now we are striking them in Iraq. Because we left them alone. We talked about an MOU and we let them run their goddamn fucking mouths for 2 months or a month. So what's the difference between now and then? That's the fucking difference.
Yeah, I think Harold's take is quite reasonable. And let me say also that, Dana, I think that you are right over the target. Sorry for that metaphor, but he refused, that is, Donald Trump refused to take his famous Air Force One Qatari gift plane home from Turkey. All right. Why? Does he fear there's a transponder in there or something?
He never took it home.
Donald Trump refused to take his famous Air Force One Qatari gift plane home from Turkey. All right. Why? Does he fear there's a transponder in there or something that he feels was secreted
I'd be afraid of that for sure.
by the Qataris that the Iranians could launch a missile at? I don't know, but he's got this big, beautiful plane that we've heard a lot
Flew it
about.
over there, though.
Yeah, he
which is
flew it
amazing.
over there, and
It's an
then once
amazing
he was
thing.
there, he must have got a briefing, like you're saying, and they said, Mr. President, we picked up this stream of reporting in XYZ. You can use your imagination. All right, look, I just, in the time we have, I just want to advance this story to the extent that it's possible. We're in a very Hobson's choice situation. They are not going anywhere. The IRGC is not leaving. This is their bailiwick. They have nothing to go back to if we take them out. So they're going to go all the way. So what does that mean? Well, very clearly, bombing doesn't affect them. I liken it to a battered spouse syndrome sort of situation. The people of Iran are the battered spouse, and the IRGC is willing to kill them. And we're the police out the door saying, come on, let's talk. It's a hostage negotiation. Let's talk a little bit. And they're not that interested because they have a good amount of leverage. So what are you left with is coercion. From where I sit, nothing we've done so far seems to be shaking them. And
Do you guys get the analogy? Like, this is an abusive relationship between the government and the people, and the government is basically holding the people hostage because we don't want to, I don't know, nuke them or whatever, because we don't want to hurt the people, only the IRGC.
so the red line seems to be approaching, which is what? The one thing nobody wants is boots on the ground. But I don't see how you get the straits open, rid of the IRGC, and the nuclear material secreted in a way that we can definitely say it's all out of there without putting eyes on. I just don't see it. And many of us said before we launched, reasonable minds can disagree about whether we should do this or not. But if we do it, it's got to be all the way, and it's got to be a clear, empirically defined success. And I don't know that we're there without doing what I just described. And I'm not advocating for that. I want to be clear. But we're in a spot now where very clearly we don't have all the leverage, as Harold says. And so what do? My last point as we go out the door here is this. What I'd like to see is a decoupling. What do we need their oil? We don't. Every time somebody, stubs their toe in the Straits of Hormuz, our prices go up we've all heard that it's not our oil that comes from the Straits of Hormuz.
Do you guys understand who is most affected? Do you guys know? I'm going to let you guys guess. Who is most affected by this? Who is most affected by the loss of Iran oil? Does anybody know? I'm Puerto Rican, by the way, actually a New Rican. Look, I'll forgive you for being a New Rican as long as you disavow AOC, okay? No, I'm just joking. Yeah, welcome to the stream from New York. Bienvenido. Aquí estás en tu casa, como puedes ver. Estamos aquí, Puerto Rico en la casa, los boricuas. So you can come over here and feel at home. This is my radio voice. Hi, how you guys doing tonight? Welcome to the stream. Bienvenidos al programa. But did anybody? Oh, here we go. Oh, a lot of people got the answer here. Let me see who got it first. You got it first. China is most affected. China and Russia. But why is Russia affected? Russia thought they were going to make out like a bandit, but Russia can't sell their oil because Ukraine is blowing it all up. That's what's been going on with that. Like Trump. Okay, let me see some of the comments I start some comments. Okay. We can go all the way back to the 1980s. Trump saying military action was needed against the Islamic regime. That was during the hostage situation. We have MUN and QBs everywhere. I don't know what MUN and QB is. Mondays? Quarterbacks? We have monsters and quarterbacks. I'm guessing that's what that means. You're right, Monkey. Trump knew all along that the regime was scum. Yeah, Sarah, you also knew that Trump knew. Pointed it out. Let me see. I said that from the first when the Qataris offered to provide a new Air Force One. My reply was like, "You can't be serious." Yeah, no, it's kind of stupid. I mean, it's not stupid, but you take it with you. You're not gonna leave it there. Well, let's take it with us. Use it as a decoration in a place where it doesn't fucking move. Because that's what he said. He was going to put it in the. What he said was he was going to put it in a museum, which means it's not much of a risk because it's always in the same place. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to take your money that you put into this plane, but I'm just going to stick it in a place where it doesn't move and not save you the cost of selling it or doing something else with it if I had rejected it. You understand what I'm saying?
We don't need it. We have our own. Right now, you've got new fields opening up: Guyana, Suriname, Argentina, obviously Venezuela. We should be the energy powerhouse. They should be kissing our behinds.
Well, that's exactly what happened. Okay, so he's not seeing. I don't understand why he's not seeing it. But by allowing this war to go on as long as it has, by making a blockade, by having all the insurance company say it's cheaper to just go to America, especially if you're a super tanker. There's a lot of super tankers that are saying we are not going fucking back in there. You are basically offshoring and French shoring all this oil. You're opening up the Argentinian markets. You're opening up so many markets in Venezuela because we have Venezuela now. I understand that the production is not to a point where they can offset anything in here. Oh, anything in there, especially after an earthquake, right? But like, yeah, yes, obviously, yes, we're delinking everyone from the Saudis. We're delinking everyone from the Qataris. We're delinking everyone from the United Arab Emirates. And Iran is the excuse. Yes, yes, yes. The only ones that are super stuck on them are the fucking Europeans. And that's because they don't want to open their fucking oil fields, because they do have a lot of oil fields and they have nuclear power. We're forcing Europe to count on its own oil and its own fucking nuclear. We're counting on the rest of the planet to start delinking from Iran and from Russia, because Russia doesn't even have enough oil or gas left over for its own people. Russian people are rationing their gasoline. Russia's basically a giant gas station, and they're out of gas. You understand? Like, yes, yes, everything you're saying, yes. Oh, this is what should happen. Motherfucker, that's what did happen. Aren't you? Open your fucking eyes. He is forcing the world to reevaluate its oil routes, and it's leading them all to the Don Road gas station. And the Don Road gas station goes from Canada to down there to fucking Chile. I don't know how far down it goes. All the way down. I suck at maps. I'm American. What do you want?
We don't need the Middle East anymore. We got allies, the Gulf states, obviously, Israel, obviously. But in terms of fuel, which is all the leverage here, we should be looking at our own hemisphere. And that's the Don Road doctrine.
Yes. Okay, so he was going to say it. He was going to say it.
If you haven't heard about that, look that up, because that is something Donald Trump is serious about. And we're seeing the Latin American nations shift to the right, coming around to capitalism, coming into the American sphere of influence. That, from where I sit, is the future. So the next time somebody in Hormuz says, we don't want this tanker going through, we say, what's got to do with us? Go ahead. Talk to you later.
All right.
Go ahead. Talk to you later. Buy from our friends down here in the Southern America. Buy from us. Buy from the Argentinians. They got some oil fields going, if I'm not mistaken. Buy from, I don't know if Bukele has oil, but if he does, I'd fucking sell it. I think Colombia mostly has cocaine, but we're working on it. Calm down. At least, our people going over there. We're working on it. Okay. So there is a lot of nations. You know what? Do you know what fucking even Cuba has resources that we need? I wouldn't say need, but want. But like, if we got the resources of Cuba, I think they got cobalt and nickel like a motherfucker. We could make the Cubans so rich in a way that the Castro regime never would. If we get a chance to pump out that oil out of Venezuela, we would make the Venezuela was one of the top tier economies. And what that's going to do is going to offset that oil so that we don't need that Saudi oil. We don't need that Qatari oil. We don't need that, and neither does anyone else. So what does that mean? That means that the Saudis, the Qataris, the fucking Omanis, everyone in the Persian Gulf is going to be so fucking sick of the IRGC that they're going to say, fuck the IRGC. The world has stopped even fucking needing us. What we need to do is get rid of the IRGC so we can start selling oil again, and maybe let this Pahlavi guy in. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, there's someone in here talking Persian. I don't speak Persian, but Javed Shah, Payande Iran. I know that. I know that much. I know that. So yeah, I think that's the plan. Make not only the IRGC suffer, but make all those nations understand that you can't work with the fucking IRGC. You got to get rid of them. You got to. Look, I can explain this. Okay, Amberlyn says, It's so weird that the Venezuelan criminals wanted crime money. Why not oil money? Oil money takes skill. Oil money takes skill. Like you got to be able to work the machines. You got to be able to do the service. You got to be able to do the surveys. It takes a lot of skill. It's not just like strong men. It takes a lot of skill for you to be able to run an oil rig. That's like an oil rig, an oil refinery. This is things that take a lot of skill. And the criminals in Venezuela, they don't have that skill. They have enough skill to sell some drugs. They have some skills to make some cartels, but not enough to run a plant. Oh, we have some news. Breaking news. Last night was a disaster for them. That is good news. IRGC is about to get a whole can of whoop ass opened on them.
Be sure to like and subscribe.
Okay, that is a good point. I'm going to put this link in the chat for you guys so you guys can see it. We're not a replacement for the original content. We want you to like and subscribe to the original content. Watch it, watch their streams, watch the show. There was some things that I disagreed with them on, what is the tactics that we're using here. All right. But I have a little treat for you guys. I think we had a little bit of fun with the time we talked about the Civil War and Mr. Cassius Clay. So I have something like that. You guys want to see one of those? You guys want some history? What do you guys think? We do a little history video, real quick history video. We're going to talk about our potential. Do you guys like potential? You guys believe in potential? Because we're going to talk about potential right now. We're going to get into some histories. It's the 250th anniversary. So I think we'd close off with a little segment on a little bit of history. All right. Here's another link for you guys to be able to go ahead and follow. We love this guy. All right. So I want this to be clear that these people haven't changed. They have not fucking changed. They are the same. Yeah, no, potential escalation. There could be some potential escalation in this video. We're going to talk about some potentials.
Ah, yes, that time that pirates kept messing with American ships, so George Washington founded the United States Navy to do something about it.
Yes, the United States Navy was reconstituted after the war for a very specific purpose. More than likely, but I don't know if when Trump said that they were attacking tonight, they mean tonight America time or tonight over there. I think he meant tonight over there because at the time that he was speaking, I think he was in Turkey. So when he says tonight, he's probably talking about tonight your time. So, yep. That's very much a possibility. I mean, he called them scum. He called them people that he can't deal with. Like, the thing is, with America, we really don't want to interfere with other people's business and running of government. We have done that before, and it has not turned out well. But we have to slowly get America into the idea that these people are one, not people that you can negotiate with because they won't stand by any negotiation. Two, we have to show America slowly but surely that they are a barbaric regime and do not express the interest, wants, or needs of the people. And the way that we're doing is to giving diplomacy every chance and being strong when we have to be strong. I suspect, as Texas troops suspect, that we're going to want to do like a 5-day full-on campaign very soon and hit the target so hard that the people can rise up and take over. I think that would be preferable. We also had a time when we were backing up, our military drones were backing up the people so that the checkpoints were being hit, specific targets were being hit. So we might get back to that after a strong run, and then maybe an organized resistance can pave the way for the Shah to return. Okay, okay. I think you understand this. Javid Shah Payande Iran. You know Payande Iran, yes? Yes? Javid Shah, yes? You probably know that. Yes. Javid Shah Payande Iran. Durud, Durud. That's all I know.
Yeah, the United States Navy was founded for the sole reason of hunting pirates.
Oh, maybe I can find. Wait a minute. Can I find subtitles in other options? Let me see. Can I find subtitles in other languages? Auto-generated. English auto-generated. Maybe I could get this in Persian. All right. All right. I got it with Persian subtitles, guys.
Ah, yes, that time that pirates kept messing with American ships, so George Washington founded the United States Navy to do something about it. Yeah, the United States Navy was founded for the sole reason of hunting pirates. Today we're talking about the Barbary Wars. Ladies and gentlemen, it is pretty much an ongoing internet joke that you do not mess with America's boats, you know, because of Operation Praying Mantis, that time that America decided they were going to sink half of Iran's navy in like 8 hours. And Vietnam and World War II.
Okay, so yes, this is a thing that is widely known. America doesn't like it when anyone messes with our boats. I hope you can at least with subtitles understand. In my layout, I don't know if I can. No, I don't think I can do it in my layout. I think I can make them bigger. Subtitles, Persian options. Can I make them font proportional, font family sans serif? No. Background opacity. I can make it darker so they're clearer. Font character edge none. Window clarity none. Can I make them big? Font size 150. There.
And World War I and the Spanish-American War and the War of
Okay, I'm gonna switch the banner off.
1812. I guess if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you this is the origin story of why you don't mess with America's boats. But first, a word from our sponsor, because this video is
So yeah, this is the origin story. This is the first time someone messed with our boats.
brought to you by my favorite underwear company, Sheath. Wait, hold on. I'm supposed to read a script for this one. Here's how to do a perfect ad read for our company. Let's take it most comfortable.
Okay, calm down. Calm down. I love you, buddy.
Second of all,
okay.
At least I know who I'm not letting self or buy some as a gift for 20% off.
Okay.
Back to the video. All right, here's the deal. For 3 centuries, pirates from the Barbary states of Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, and Tripoli would raid merchant vessels in the Mediterranean, steal all the goods, and imprison and turn all of the crew members into slaves. So why was this allowed to go on for over 300 years? Well, the only navies powerful enough to stop these pirates at the time were the Spanish, the French, and the British. And they all came to the same conclusion that it would be cheaper to pay off the pirates, giving them a yearly tribute to not raid their ships.
So this is a problem. This is why you don't negotiate with terrorists. Pirates are basically terrorists, and these people in Britain, Spain, and France were paying off the terrorists, which is bad.
Rather than go to war with them. So now those 3 empires aren't getting their ships raided, which is fine. That's a good thing, I guess. But here's the catch with it that they may or may not have known at the time, but they definitely figured out somewhere along the way. Now the pirates are only raiding all the smaller nations. Okay, it's like Walmart, Target, and Amazon getting together, encouraging shoplifting, knowing that they can shoulder the financial burden, but it puts all the other mom and pop stores out of business and they become the only ones selling goods.
Okay, does that explain the no arresting shoplifter laws? Do you guys get that? Do you guys understand why Walmart and Target say, "Oh, you shouldn't arrest people if it's under $1,000"? because they can take that hit, but they know all their competition, mom and pop shops, they're not going to be able to deal with shoplifting. Why is shoplifting not a felony? I want to run that back.
100 years. Well, the only navies powerful enough to stop these pirates at the time were the Spanish, the French, and the British. And they all came to the same conclusion that it would be cheaper to pay off the pirates, giving them a yearly tribute to not raid their ships rather than go to war with them. So now those three empires aren't getting their ships raided, which is fine. That's a good thing, I guess. But here's the catch with it that they may or may not have known at the time, but they definitely figured out somewhere along the way. Now the pirates are only raiding all the smaller nations. Okay, it's like Walmart, Target, and Amazon getting together, encouraging shoplifting, knowing that they can shoulder the financial burden, but it puts all the other mom and pop stores out of business and they become the only ones selling goods. Except instead of retail stores, we're talking about entire nations. This goes on for literally hundreds of years, but America is still part of the British Empire, so they...
I hope you got that point. They encourage shoplifting because Walmart can take it. They encourage a high minimum wage because Walmart can take it. They encourage lax laws because those big companies can take it, but those small competition stores, they have to close down. If you have 10 employees and their wage goes up by $2, you're going to have to fire someone or lower everyone's hourly output so that no one, you have to lower hours on everyone or fire someone. That's the only way to do it. You cut everybody down to part-time or you fire someone. You don't got a fucking option. So the people that love high minimum wage, the people that love, no felonies for shoplifting are the companies that can afford it because they know every mom and pop shop can't fucking afford it. So I just want to put that out there.
Fall under their umbrella of protection, so it's never an issue. That is until the American Revolution started on April 19th, 1775 with the shot herder...
Wait a minute. Where's my closed caption? All right.
Were the Spanish, the French, and the British. And they all came to the same conclusion that it would be cheaper to pay off the... Now, those three empires aren't getting their ships raided, which is fine. That's a good thing, I guess. But here's the catch with it that they may or may not have known at the time, but they definitely figured out somewhere along the way. Now, the pirates are only raiding all the smaller nations. Okay, it's like Walmart, Target, and Amazon getting together, encouraging shoplifting, knowing that they can shoulder the financial burden, but it puts all the other mom and pop stores out of business and they become the only ones selling goods. Except instead of retail stores, we're talking about entire nations. This goes on for literally hundreds of years, but America is still part of the British Empire.
Okay, so this guy talks fast. I know, and I encourage you guys to talk to each other in the chat, and that's all good. But guys, how do I say I love you in Persian? How do I say something really nice in Persian? I don't know how to say nice things. Hold on. I'm gonna find out. Okay, I'm gonna try this. سپاس از شما دوستان ایران ایبایا بازدید اتون. Let me see. سپاس از شما دوستان ایران برای وزدیدتون. I hope that sounded right. درود. I hope that sounded okay.
So they fall under their umbrella of protection, so it's never an issue.
Okay, so you say it, but you say it with the correct pronunciation.
سپاس از شما دوستان ایرانی برای بازدیدتون.
That's it.
That is until the American Revolution started on April 19th, 17th protection, so it's never an issue. That is until the American Revolution started on April 19th, 1775, with the shot heard around the world, the Battle of Lexington and Concord, and the famous story of a 78-year-old veteran going out into his front yard and shooting 3 redcoats as they retreated back to Boston, sending the message for all of America that the British Empire should get off of our lawn. Fast forward 1783, America wins the Revolutionary War, officially becoming its own country, and all of America's merchant vessels start flying the old red, white, and blue. And pretty much immediately, 1784, one of America's merchant vessels is captured by Barbary pirates from the country of Morocco. As an act of good faith for a new nation, Spain actually pays off the pirates, gets the American vessel and all of its...
Okay, so as you see, as soon as we became a nation, the pirates said, "Oh, you're separate now, so you either pay or you get robbed and enslaved."
Crew back, returns it to America, and then advises the American government, hey, you guys should start paying these guys off too. That's what all the big nations are doing. At which point, America's minister to France, a guy by the name of Thomas Jefferson, chimes in, and he's...
Okay, say goodbye in Persian with good pronunciation. Say goodbye in Persian with good pronunciation.
خدا حافظ.
خدا حافظ.
کاملا عالی. دقیقاً همین بود. حالا هر وقت خواستی میتونی با اعتماد به نفس بگی.
Okay, I don't know what it's saying now.
No problem. I was just encouraging you. Basically, I said you nailed it, and now you can say it confidently anytime. If you ever need another phrase, just ask.
Okay, but they don't know that. They're gonna think I'm saying that to them. Like, explain to them that wasn't. Oh my God, I don't even know what to say now. Say goodbye. Say goodbye in Iranian. Say goodbye in Persian.
خدا حافظ.
خدا حافظ. Okay.
It's like, no, absolutely not. I'm going to go talk to him. Now, obviously, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, Thomas Jefferson rolls up and he's like, hey, don't ever fuck with my boats ever again or else. At which point, the Sultan of Morocco is like, I'm sorry, who are you? I'm Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas Jefferson said, don't fuck with my vote.
Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of America. You know, we just kicked the British out of our entire country. We're our own thing now. I'm sorry. Are you fucking pilgrims did what now? We beat the British in war and now we are our own country. You mean to tell me that a bunch of colonial farmers with muskets went toe-to-toe with the largest military on the planet that is so good at war that they can literally wear high-vis red coats the entire time and still win, and you beat them? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. I mean, yeah, I could probably just leave your boats alone from now on. That historically seems like it's going to be a really good idea. And that is the story of how Morocco came to be the first country to recognize America as its own sovereign nation.
You see, like France recognized America before. Okay, now say in Persian, there will be ongoing escalations.
تهدیدهایی در جریان ادامه خواهند داشت.
The IRGC, Islamic Republic regime, have proven they cannot be negotiated with, and things will escalate.
این وضعیت تشدید خواهد شد.
Please be patient with us.
لطفاً با ما صبور باشید.
All right. I hope that came out good.
By signing the Moroccan-American Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which is the first and longest-lasting peace treaty in American history. At which point Thomas Jefferson is like, wow, that actually worked out perfect. I'm going to go to the other 3 Barbary states and tell them the same thing now. But of course, there's going to be a catch with that. You see, there's 4 Barbary states, but Morocco's the only one that's actually truly independent, and the other 3 are just subservient branches of the Ottoman Empire. So Thomas Jefferson and John Adams go to talk to the ambassador of Tripoli, and they're like, hey, can all the Ottoman Barbary states leave our boats alone? At which point the ambassador informs them, absolutely not. You see, we're part of the Ottoman Empire. We don't need to listen to you. We're not scared of you guys. And it is our official stance that, and I quote, it was written in the Quran that all nations which had not acknowledged the prophet were sinners, who it was the right and duty of the faithful to plunder and enslave.
You got to understand how deep this goes. Like, this is how the fucking Navy got started. Like, we had a Navy for the Revolutionary War, but the reason it was reconstituted was this.
No, unless they give us money, of course. Everything's got a price, apparently. So Thomas Jefferson is like, well, okay, we're going to war then. And that's when John Adams is like, whoa, 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 calm down. Let's just pay the tribute so that our ships can be fine. We already disbanded the Continental Navy after winning the revolution.
We discount, like, this is a mistake that, like, when Armin was asked about this during the 4th of July, he, like, looked up a Google search because he doesn't know, like, the history too well. So he gave, like, the wrong answer. Like, no, the Navy was, was started in the Revolutionary War. No, Morocco was not the first nation. No, but Morocco was the first nation to recognize America after the war was over and the treaty was signed in I think it was Paris. I don't know. So this is like the real fact, nuanced fact that Armin didn't know. I'm going over it here so you guys know. But after the war, the first nation to recognize America, the first were the French because they were like basically helping us. But after the war, it was Morocco. The other guys in the Ottoman Empire, they didn't care. Morocco was kind of doing its own thing.
Revolutionary War. We don't have a navy to fight these guys. We just have to give them the money. So that's what happened. For the next 8 to 10 years, America would pay tribute every year to these 3 remaining Barbary states. And every year they wanted more and more money. And eventually even that wasn't enough because Algiers began attacking American vessels anyway.
Yeah, we were paying because we didn't have a navy. And then, Algiers started attacking anyway, like he just said. So this is why we don't deal with terrorists.
Okay, if you're not picking up what I'm putting down, I'm trying to tell you that for the first time in American history, somebody has fucked with one of America's boats and they're not immediately sorry about it. Yet. The president at the time, George Washington, goes to Congress and pretty much tells them what's going to happen because at this point in time, George Washington is basically the king of America. Nobody actually knows if he's going to step down from presidency or not. So he's like, hey, guess what? You guys are going to pass the Naval Act of 1794, establishing the United States Navy. And at the very top of
yes, he just told them, hey, you're making a fucking Navy.
That document, it very clearly states that the purpose we are building the United States Navy is so that we can combat Algerine corsairs.
Algerine corsairs. That means like Islam boats.
Which is just a fancy word for state-funded pirates. Yes, I'm telling you that the founding document of the most powerful navy the world has ever seen at the top specifically states the sole reason for their creation is to hunt down and destroy pirates that had the audacity to fuck with one of America's ships. We have officially entered the find out portion of the story. America immediately commissions the building of
millions for defense, but not one dime of tribute. I think back then it was a penny. But yes.
6 enormous frigates covered in guns to go fight these pirates. Fast forward to when the frigates are done, it takes a couple years. It is now 1798, and George Washington has decided to step down from power, allowing for an election to happen, and we are now into the second president of America, John Adams. And John Adams decides he would rather keep paying tribute.
John Adams is such a pussy.
America just created the Navy, spent $1 million creating all these frigates, and now John Adams isn't going to use them for their intended purpose.
Is he like the first Democrat? What the hell?
Obviously, a lot of people are upset, including his own vice president, Thomas Jefferson. So Thomas Jefferson.
Okay, so here is how things used to go. Like right now, you pick your vice president. That's not the way it was before. Before, if Trump won, the vice president would be Biden or Kamala because he was like the second most popular. Can you imagine now? That would be fucking crazy.
The vice president at the time immediately begins campaigning to run against the sitting president in the next election. And one of his biggest platforms is that he is going to go fight.
It might have
these
been a dime
pirates
or a penny. I
rather
don't
than
remember.
Pay them tribute. And his slogan for this is, and I quote, "Millions in defense before a cent in tribute." Okay.
Okay, so it was a cent. It was like a penny, a cent. I said penny, it was cents. But yeah, a dime was a lot of money back in those days.
Just so we're clear, Thomas Jefferson's platform for running for president is, I'm going to spend millions of dollars in defense, which might as well be hundreds of billions of dollars at that point, because America no longer negotiates with terrorists. And I'm
John Adams was like Joe Biden. Yeah, the based Adams was Samuel Adams. He had that beard.
pretty sure my high school English teacher would refer to this as foreshadowing. So Thomas Jefferson,
hey, no spoilers.
World finds out that he's going to be.
We got like a history buff here. Come on, man. We got to let it play out. Shh, you can't tell that.
The third president of the United States of America. And then on March 4th, 1801, the day of his inauguration, he receives a letter from Yusuf Karmanali, the Pasha of Tripoli. If you don't know, Pasha is like the dictator, the king, the president, the main dude in charge. And at this point, Thomas Jefferson, the guy who just ran an entire presidential campaign on, I'm going to go fight pirates, is thinking in his head, like, maybe this guy.
Oh, they sent a letter. Maybe they're going to stop fucking around and they won't have to find out.
I found out that I'm about to send a navy over there to beat him up, and he's going to send an apology. Maybe he wants to sign a peace treaty like Morocco did. This is already working out great. I might not even have to send my navy over there. He opens the letter, and Pasha Yusuf Karmanali has decided that he is going to poke the Pilgrim King because he is now demanding.
Man, I haven't been in the military in decades. Like, I don't know if they're still there. The three, like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't like my monkey self is in Fort Buchanan, but I wasn't stationed there. Like, I was in the 3rd Infantry. That's where I was. I was in a lot of places, actually. That's one of the places where I was. But like, yeah, like you get orders to a lot of places. Like, I served there. I served in Maryland. I served in Louisiana. I served in a couple of places. I served in a few places. I like, yeah. Like most of the bases that well, the home bases were all over the place, but I never got a home. I was never based out of Puerto Rico. I was born out of Puerto Rico.
That because of the new administration, the United States owes him an extra $225,000.
Oh, you're new? Oh, you got to give me extra
in tribute. And Thomas Jefferson is pissed.
You're trying to get crazy with this. Don't you know I'm local?
Originally, Thomas Jefferson was going to have to go to Congress, get permission to activate the Navy to send him over there to fight these pirates, but not now. He's so mad we're activating the Rainbow Shortcut to ass-whooping land, and Pasha Yusuf is going to have some consequences immediately because he's sending the Navy today. But like I said, it takes a literal act of Congress to send the U.S. Navy over there on a military mission. So Thomas Jefferson is like, that's fine. We just won't send them on a military mission. Fill up one of our frigates with a bunch of gifts and peace offerings for Pasha Yusuf, and then give it a nice, healthy escort of other frigates to defend it and send them on their merry way to.
Exactly. This is psychological warfare. Oh my God, I was blocking the subtitles. This is psychological warfare. So basically, a mortuary or a mortar? Mortuary unit. Okay. Anyway, like the thing about this was that these motherfuckers said, "Oh, I can't send them on a war mission, but I can send them on any other mission I want. And if they get attacked, oh well, they got to defend themselves."
To deliver the gifts. Right after he gives the commander of the United States Navy the standing order that he is also to defend any American citizen or ship from any potential aggression.
A bait car. Yes, bait car. So any potential aggression, it doesn't have to be actual aggression. It could just be potential.
Not aggression, potential aggression. If he thinks that somebody else might be thinking about doing something aggressive,
take them out, take them down, do your stuff.
So the Navy sets sail. They're gone. They're en route. Thomas Jefferson's sitting in his office and he comes to the realization, man, I'm pretty sure these pirates are going to attack him. But if they don't, they're actually going to end up giving Pasha What's-His-Nuts a bunch of these gifts. And I can't have it. So he whips out the old quill and parchment. And he writes a letter back and sends that off. And that letter basically reads, hey, America's done giving you tribute for the rest of forever. F off. And obviously.
So he sends the gift, but he sends a faster boat with a letter that says, we're not paying tribute anymore, to make sure he attacks the gift.
The letter makes it there first, at which point Pasha goes to the American consulate building and chops down the flagpole with the American flag on it.
So Pasha, yeah, he went and chopped down the flag, which means we're at war.
Which in that part of the world is how you declare war. So the U.S. Navy shows up off the coast of the Barbary States. The pirates attack them because they've already declared war. The U.S. Navy defends themselves. Word gets back to America. Congress.
Okay, people like to condemn the Crusades, which are defensive, fighting 20 battles over to reclaim Christian lands, compared to Islam fighting 700 battles of conquest, taking over all Christianity. Okay, so here's my stance on that. Vlad Tepes III did nothing wrong. He fucked about 40,000 Ottomans in the ass with 10-foot poles, and he stuck them in their ass until they came out of their mouths and made a forest of them. And I think that was pretty cool.
Then is like, oh, hey, we're at war. We're going to go ahead and give Thomas Jefferson permission to use the United States Marine Corps.
Bro, that's a real MOS? What the why didn't I sign up for that? You know all the cool MOSs.
At his discretion. And this is why
I mean, that's like, okay, so yeah, not cool because you probably have to deal with dead soldiers and their families. But I mean, that I don't even know what to say, man. Do you have like a different thing you do during war? Because I remember, like, yeah, Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, that guy. I remember that even though I was a mechanic, if you're on QRF, you're on QRF. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you still got to, like, you know, do your thing. You're still infantry.
This day, the United States Marine Corps is the only branch of the U.S. military that can be sent and deployed anywhere in the world without congressional approval. So for the next 2 years, the U.S. Navy and the Marine Corps set up a naval blockade and just go on a pirate hunting extravaganza until October of 1803, when the USS Philadelphia would get hung up on an uncharted reef right off the coast of Tripoli.
Okay, so they got hung up on a reef. They didn't get taken down.
Pirates seize this opportunity. They attack the USS Philadelphia, board it, take the crew hostage, and then over the next couple months, they were able to repair it enough to get it back into the harbor at Tripoli, where they then anchored it in place and used it as fixed artillery because it had way more guns than any other vessel they had.
Yeah, our ship had the most guns, so they used it as a defensive, basically, you know, as a defensive reef, basically.
Cue our first main character, Stephen Decatur, the commander of the USS Enterprise.
That's the main character.
America's unofficial flagship. He decides that he's going to don his plot armor, take the USS Enterprise out, and acquire himself a pirate ship, which he does. He then takes that pirate ship and the USS Enterprise and sails both of them to Sicily.
That's the first Enterprise. Before Captain Kirk. Before Picard.
Where he hires 5 Sicilian mercenaries that know how to speak Arabic. They then sail back to Tripoli, where Decatur and 80 Marines are going to go below deck of this pirate ship, which has now been christened the USS Intrepid, as the 5 mercenaries are going to sail directly into the heart of the harbor, pretending to be Barbary pirates. They then go directly to the USS Philadelphia. 80 Marines and Stephen Decatur run out, kill the entire crew of pirates that are on the USS Philadelphia, and reclaim it. Unfortunately, the US
They took back the ship. They just took back the ship. They're like, fuck it. Like, we're taking it back. We're jumping out of here. We're jumping on the other ship. We're getting on.
USS Philadelphia is too damaged to actually be used as a ship ever again, at which point Stephen Decatur decides, fine, we're just going to burn the entire thing to the ground, because if we can't have it, nobody can. Deprive the enemy of nice things. I'm pretty sure Sun Tzu said that.
Yeah, they just burned it down because they couldn't take it back.
So that's exactly what they do. They light the USS Philadelphia on fire. They're positive it can't be put out, and then they bounce. Not a single American is injured, and Stephen Decatur is hailed a hero because he has now led what is, in my opinion, America's first special operation.
That's definitely a special forces operation. Like, if you're out here fucking, you went in, you took out an objective, like a hard objective. You did it like surprised. You did it undercover. Like, this is special forces shit. This is some Delta shit.
Mission. So now that that's taken care of, the problem at hand is that the crew of the USS Philadelphia is still being held hostage by the Barbary pirates, and they want a ton of money in exchange for them back. However, America no longer negotiates with terrorists, and that's not an option. Cue our next two main characters, William Eaton and Presley O'Bannon. And before you ask, yes, Presley O'Bannon, as in the USS O'Bannon, the Fletcher-class destroyer from World War II that sank a Japanese submarine with potatoes.
Yes. The guy in the story is named O'Bannon. O'Bannon later had a ship in World War II named after him. The ship named after O'Bannon sank a submarine with potatoes.
So they go in and they pitch their idea of how they're going to get the crew of the USS Philadelphia back, and it is, by every definition, a special operations mission. Basically, they want to take themselves, 2 dudes plus 6 Marines for a total of 8 guys, and they're going to get dropped off in Egypt, because in Egypt is Yusuf Karmali's brother that is living in exile because Yusuf kicked him out because he is technically the rightful heir of Tripoli. So they're going to get that guy.
So the rightful heir was somewhere else. And we're like, no, we're going to get the rightful heir back in there.
And all the buddies that are loyal to him, like 500 men. And then they're going to march them through the desert to Derna, where they are then going to use them to fight and take over the city and exchange the city for the crew of the USS Philadelphia. And upon hearing this ridiculous plan, the US military leadership is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You want to take a small contingency of men, be dropped off in a foreign country, meet up with a rebel leader who already has a bunch of men, and then convince him that you're going to help him overthrow a current dictator, and then he can be the new dictator. And basically, we're using other people to fight other people that we don't like to benefit us. And Presley O'Bannon and Eaton are like, yeah, that's pretty much exactly it. And the government is like, this is a terrific idea. I mean, we're probably never, ever going to do anything like this ever again. And
we did that forever after that. Like, ever since we made a Navy, we were doing this shit.
We're not going to have an entire branch of special forces that specializes in it. Sorry. Anyways, that's exactly what
talking about them Delta Force, them Green Berets, them boys.
They do. They get dropped off in Egypt. They track down Hamet. They're like, hey, you want to go overthrow your brother? Cool. Grab your guys. Let's go. Somewhere along the way, the Marines also picked up 50 Greek mercenaries as they all began marching 500 miles through the Libyan desert to get back to the Tripolitan coast. And this march through the desert takes 50 days, and it is a...
Okay, I'm on both channels. People are saying, like, I thought this was on your channel. I'm on both channels. So if you're on Armin's channel, like see here, the message shows up on both channels, you see? So you can, I'm like, Armin wants me to stream on both channels because now I'm trying to get some new subscribers. I'm all the way up to 500. I sang a little song about it because I'm halfway to my goal. So I was singing to the people, oh, I'm halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. A little song by Bon Jovi. And I was singing it to the people, and I was pretending I didn't like to, but I discovered I really like to, so I've been singing it a lot. And yeah, that's basically what's going on. We're halfway there. We're trying to get some subscribers. So Armin wants me to stream on both channels, and so you guys can subscribe to me if you want, if you like, if you want to hear me sing. If you don't, just tell me, and we'll try to accommodate you.
Complete shit show because somewhere along the way they start running low on supplies and they have to start rationing.
A link to my channel? Okay. Let me get the link. Let me get that link for you. I should have it pinned. I don't know why I don't have it pinned. I don't know how to pin on this channel. Okay, how do I do the bang? Do the bang. Bam, here you go. Can I pin a link from here on both channels? I can star it, put on timeout, ban. No, I don't want to ban myself. How do I? No, star? Can I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I'll find out. I'll find out how to pin comments.
And some people get mad. There's accusations because the Greek guys are Christian. Hamet's
Okay, so the Greeks are Christian and the Hametz guys are not Christians and they don't like each other, but they're out in the middle of the desert. They're hungry. They got to get over to this other place. It's getting wild.
guys are Muslims. There's fighting amongst themselves, and there's these 8 Marines standing in the middle, desperately trying to keep them from killing each other as they march through the desert. So despite multiple mutiny attempts and a ton of fights, the Marines were able to keep this group together enough to make it through the Libyan desert till they arrived at the coastal city of Bamba. Once they get there, they meet up with the USS Argus that gives them a bunch of supplies so they can start eating food again, and they give enough money to pay off the Greek mercenaries. Then Eaton decides that he's going to send a letter over to the governor of Derna right next door, because remember, we can't attack unless they're potentially aggressive. Okay.
Right.
So he sends a letter and is basically like, hey, I'm going to march my army through the middle of your town to go kill your boss on my way to Tripoli. Can I have some safe passage and maybe...
Yeah. He can't attack them, but he can tell them, I'm going to go kill your boss. Can you let me like stay over and give me some food? Now, if after reading that they attack, hey, we did it in self-defense.
Some food. The governor of Derna sends a letter back that says, my head or yours, which sounds potentially aggressive enough. So they begin making the plan for the ground attack. Hamet and his men are going to take the governor's palace, and the Marines and the Greek mercenaries are going to take out the harbor fortress. But to do that, they're going to need a cannon from the USS Argus, so they're going to meet up with it, go get this cannon, and prepare for their attack. Cut back to Stephen Decatur. While all this has been happening, there's still been a naval battle in the Mediterranean.
So you got to understand, they took 500 men, they took them over the desert, took the guy's brother, the guy who's supposed to be in charge, because they got some fake in charge. They didn't want to put the real boss in charge. And the real boss was exiled. They're going to take the real boss and 500 guys into this place so they can put him back in power. In exchange, they take their hostages. They take the prisoners back. Does this sound familiar? Yeah, because we've done it like 100 times.
The entire time, and Stephen Decatur is on an absolute rampage because after he captured his first pirate ship, he would receive word that his brother, James Decatur, had been mortally wounded by one of the pirate ship's captains.
Okay, so Decatur was the guy that jumped over into he jumped into the enemy ship and burned it, right? And he has just been capturing pirate ships.
Who was pretending to surrender before shooting his younger brother. Upon hearing this, Decatur immediately gives command of the new captured vessel to one of his men, leaves a couple guys with him, and takes...
Wait. Translate the following words to Persian. I can't understand what you're writing, but I appreciate your company.
من نمیفهمم چی می نویسید، اما از همراهی شما قدردانی می کنم.
off to track down this pirate ship that just killed his brother. So they chase down this pirate ship, they pull up right next to it, and before the crew has time to do any boarding procedures, you know, like break out the planks, tie some ropes to the other ship, all that stuff you see in the movies. Nah, Stephen Decatur jumps into the enemy ship and starts killing pirates immediately.
Okay, so they just killed his brother, right? And, you know, they come up next to the ship and like, okay, there's a procedure. We're about to, no, oh, you just jumped in there, boss. Boss jumped in. I guess we're jumping in. Oh, we attacked again? Okay. I'm going to take a look at the news after this.
9 Marines, seeing that happen, are like, oh shit, we're doing this. So they jump onto the pirate ship too and start throwing down, at which point the pirate ship veers off and breaks away from Decatur's ship. It is now 9 Marines and Stephen Decatur versus over 30 pirates on this vessel.
9 versus 30.
And 30 is not going to be enough. Stephen Decatur kills multiple pirates, including the captain that had slain his brother, officially avenging his brother's death, capturing that vessel as well. But he is still absolutely furious that his brother died, and he continues to go on a rampage, capturing another pirate ship and destroying 3 more over the coming weeks. Cut back to the men on the ground. Eaton and O'Bannon have been getting their battle plan ready this entire time. They just had their men go get a cannon off the USS Argus because they really need this cannon if they're going to be able to pull off this mission. So
they wanted the cannon so they could break the door, so they get the cannon. All right. Decatur going 9 against 30. That's crazy, right? Yes, Leroy Jenkins. Yes.
They're ready to attack. The U.S. Navy gets into formation, and they are going to bombard the entire city of Derna while they launch this attack. Despite that, there's over 2,000 men loyal to Pasha Yusuf.
3 explosions in Chabahar. Okay.
That are going to defend it, and they are heavily outnumbered. So Navy starts bombarding the shore. Hamet and his men take off to go attack the governor's palace, and Eaton, O'Bannon, the Marines, and the Greek mercenaries begin launching their attack on the harbor fortress. They open up with the initial cannon fire, which is going to be vital to be able to break through the enemy lines and
they start with the first cannon. They open that cannon. They shoot that cannon.
Establish their foothold. They fire the cannon. As they go to reload and fire it again, they realize that they had accidentally forgot to take the ramrod out of the cannon and
oh shit. You know, in the old days, to put a cannonball in, you got to ram it in with a rod. They shot the rod with the ball, so they don't have a rod.
Shot that at the enemy too. Now the cannon's completely out, and they're kind of like, oh shit, what do we do? And Presley O'Bannon just charges into battle as the other Marines follow behind him and the Greek mercenaries behind them. They attack so quickly and so violently that they're able to overrun the entire enemy fortress before anybody really knows what's going on. And Presley O'Bannon becomes the first American ever.
Oh my God, my first super chat as an admin in the channel. May the spirit, thank you, Ehef. May the spirit of Leroy Jenkins never die, for it transcends both time and space. Yes. They went in, jumped in, 30-9. This other guy shoots the fucking ramrod out with the ball and then just fucking charges the gates. He just charges the gates.
And they're kind of like, oh shit, what do we do? And Presley O'Bannon just charges into battle as the other Marines.
This is the leader. Like, this isn't like some pawn. He's not some private. He's the leader. He's the captain. Oh, captain, my captain. He's the leader, and he's just going in there.
Follow behind him and the Greek mercenaries behind them. They attack so quickly and so violently that they're able to overrun the entire enemy fortress before anybody really knows what's going on. And Presley O'Bannon becomes the first American ever to raise the Star-Spangled Banner over a foreign.
In Puerto Rico, we have a castle with a lot of little, we call them garitas. I don't know how you say it in English, but a lot of these little emplacements.
Battlefield. This battle, the taking of the Tripolitan coastal city of Derna, is enshrined in Marine Corps history in the Marine Corps hymn with the line "From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli." And it is also where the Marine Corps would get their first nickname ever, because the 7 Marines present for this battle fought so hard and so violently that they simply became known as the Leathernecks, referring to the leather.
Okay, so they had this, so if anyone tried to cut their neck with a sword, they'd hit that leather
collar that they wore around their neck to protect it from slashes from pirate swords. So Yusuf's men end up getting beaten back and are forced to retreat to Tripoli, at which point the Marines, the Greeks, and Hamet and his men all consolidate, figure out what happened. Hamet and his men were able to take over the governor's palace, and after the taking of the city of Derna, Hamet awards his very own sword to Presley O'Bannon as a gift for how valiantly he fought in battle.
This is the sword. You see this sword? This is the sword. Like when they put the rightful prince in the throne, the prince or the king, right? Like, you know, I think his brother was not legitimately supposed to be there. So he gave this sword to the Marines. right? This sword right here.
And this is the Mameluke sword, the same sword that is on the Marine Corps uniform today.
Every Marine carries that sword that they got from these people that helped them. Like we helped them, they helped us, they gave us a gift, we wear it with pride. Well, not we, I'm not a Marine, I was in the Army. But game recognized game. I gotta respect them.
Day. So now Yusuf consolidates his military, sends an enormous army back to Derna to try to take it back over, and they're kind of just sitting on the outskirts of the city, waiting for the right
I'm
moment
sorry,
to go
I
attack
blocked
the governor's palace. And Eaton, O'Bannon,
I
the
blocked
Marines,
I
and the
blocked
Greek mercenaries
with the super
begin
chat. I
launching
blocked
their
the
attack
lettering.
on the harbor
If my
fortress.
Persian
They
friend was
open up
watching,
with the initial
I
cannon
hope they can
fire,
see
which
this.
is going to be vital to be able to break through the enemy lines and establish their foothold. They fire the cannon. As they go to reload and fire it again, they realize that they had accidentally forgot to take the ramrod out of the cannon and shot that at the enemy too. Now the cannon's completely out, and they're kind of like, oh shit, what do we do? What do we do? And Presley O'Bannon just charges into battle as the other Marines follow behind him and the Greek mercenaries behind them. They attack so quickly and so violently that they're able to overrun the entire enemy fortress before anybody really knows what's going on. And Presley O'Bannon becomes the first American ever to raise the Star-Spangled Banner over a foreign battlefield. This battle, the taking of the Tripolitan coastal city of Derna, is enshrined in Marine Corps history in the Marine Corps hymn with the line from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. And it is also where the Marine Corps would get their first nickname ever, because the 7 Marines present for this battle fought so hard and so violently that they simply became known as the Leathernecks, referring to the leather collar that they wore around their neck to protect it from slashes from pirate swords. So Yusuf's men end up getting beaten back and are forced to retreat to Tripoli, at which point the Marines, the Greeks, and Hamet and his men all consolidate, figure out what happened. Hamet and his men were able to take over the governor's palace, and after the taking of the city of Derna, Hamet awards his very own sword to Presley O'Bannon as a gift for how valiantly he fought in battle. And this is the Mameluke sword, the same sword that is on the Marine Corps uniform today. So now Yusuf consolidates his military, sends an enormous army back to Derna to try to take it back over, and they're kind of just sitting on the outskirts of the city, waiting for the right moment to attack. Eaton and O'Bannon are writing correspondence to the U.S. military in the chain of command, like, hey, we took this entire city with like 8 Marines, give us some reinforcements, we're going to go take Tripoli next, and then we'll just overthrow this entire country. This goes on for over a month, and they defend the city multiple times from attacks from Yusuf's men, and eventually Eaton receives a letter informing him that he is to stand down and just leave, because American diplomat Tobias Locke has struck up a deal with Yusuf Karmanali. And
Okay, so this is why I don't like diplomats.
apparently he struck up this deal with absolutely nobody's permission, because the deal is America is going to pay Yusuf Karmanali, the pirate king, $60,000, and in exchange, we are going to receive the USS Philadelphia back, as well as a peace treaty that they are going to leave American ships alone from now on. So yeah, everybody's pretty pissed off about it, from Thomas Jefferson, Presley O'Bannon, William Eaton, Stephen Decatur. They're all furious that we are now giving $60,000 to this pirate king, as opposed to overthrowing his entire city of Tripoli, or at a minimum using the fact that they're holding Derna and use that as leverage to exchange. But whatever, the war's over, I guess, for now. So the peace treaties were signed in 1805. Now, fast forward
F that puto, that's right.
7 years, 1812, the War of 1812 happens. Okay, if you don't know, the War of 1812, there's more to it than this, but the reason that it started is that Great Britain wanted to have more control over the seas and trade, because America was getting too much, because America was no longer getting attacked by pirates, because we just beat them in a war now too. So Great Britain launches another war against America. During this war, they encourage the Barbary pirates to start attacking American vessels again. And honestly, it works out pretty good for the pirates, at least for a little while, because the American Navy is too busy to worry about them, because their hands are full with the British Navy. Fast forward 2 years, 8 months later, the War of 1812 ends. Now, luckily for the Barbary pirates, Thomas Jefferson is no longer president at this point. We are on to America's 4th president. Let me check my notes here. James Madison. If you don't know, James Madison is one half of what is referred to as the Forefathers dynamic duo, and the other half is his best friend of all time, Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, they're fucked.
And I don't know if you figured this out yet at this point in the story, but Thomas Jefferson hates pirates. So sitting President James Madison, being the homie that he is, looks over at now Commodore Stephen Decatur and says,
Stephen Decatur is now the boss.
Get him, Tiger.
He then proceeds to assemble the largest U.S. naval fleet ever at this point in time and sails directly to the Barbary coast. He then immediately tracks down Algiers' flagship, the Mashuda, takes it out, captures over 400 members of its crew, and the ship itself. He then proceeds to take all of his gunboats directly to Algiers, park them in the port, and say, here's the deal. You're going to surrender, and you're never going to collect tribute from anyone ever again, or I'm going to overthrow your entire country. Obviously, they take the first option, at which point Decatur's like, okay, cool, next order of business. You're also going to pay me back for all the U.S. merchandise that you plundered during the War of 1812.
They get the money back. No, you owe me. I want reparations.
And they're like, okay, here you go. They give it to him. He then proceeds to sail his fleet next door to Tunis and tell them the exact same thing, ordering them to sign a peace treaty, never raid an American vessel again, and then collects a bunch of money. He then sails them next door again to Tripoli and does the exact same thing.
Look, I'm just getting, okay. Look, I'm not as smart as this guy. This guy has a way with words. He's oh, Armin is happy. Armin knows we got a super chat. Armin is happy. Super chat more. Make Armin happy. If I could make my mentor happy, I get more mentorship. It's a great deal. So this guy, he's very good. He has a way with words, and he has a way of condensing information. So I wanted to show everybody. Yes, I wanted to show everybody that this guy knows his stuff and teach you guys some history, that we have always been against Islamic pirates. These guys, like they said it in the video, the reason that they were fighting American ships when we were no longer with Britain is because the Quran said they had a right to enslave us and take our stuff because we're heathens or whatever. That's why the war started with these people in Tripoli and the Ottoman Empire. These pirate wars started because of that. Oh, let me give you their link. This is the Fat Electrician. He is great for history lessons. If you have kids and you want to teach your kids history, this guy is fantastic. Like, we don't want to replace the original content. We want you to take this original content that's helping me, and what you want to do is help them, because I believe this is a good guy. I believe this guy is a good resource. So I want to give to you, this channel wants to give you good resources so you can explain these motherfuckers haven't changed. These motherfucking pirates have been doing the exact same fucking shit for the exact same fucking reason forever. They think because the Quran says I can enslave you, because the Quran says I can take your stuff. They've been doing that since 1776. They've been doing it since before that. They just didn't do it to us because we were with Britain back then.
Collects all this money, gets the peace treaties. The Barbary pirates never mess with them.
So we got our money back. Like, that's one of the things we did. We got our money back. We got our money back, and with interest. All right. Yes, this is a good choice.
America ever again. Decatur and his fleet sail back home, and he tells the government what happened. The American government is blown away at the results that Decatur was able to achieve when asked how he managed to not only get peace treaties without too much violence, but also get a bunch of money and concessions on top of it. All Decatur said was, peace was achieved through the mouth of our cannons, at which
peace was achieved through the mouth of our cannon. You're goddamn right. We got to stop talking to these people and start bombing. And we're going to look at the updates because it seems like that's what's been happening.
Point, he was given the nickname the Conqueror of the Barbary Pirates. And with the rest of the world seeing a new country in its infancy stand up for itself against the Barbary pirates and winning, they would start doing it too. And everybody started fighting back and quit paying tribute to the Barbary pirates. And in the coming years, they would fade into nothing as their 300-year reign of terror had come to an end. So in conclusion, the moral of the story is, please, for the love of God, do not mess with America's boats. Thank you for watching. Best way to support.
Do not mess with America's boats. That's right. Again, I'm going to drop this video in particular. If anybody asks you, hey, why aren't they messing with the boats? Why can't they leave the Strait alone? Bruh, they've been doing this shit for hundreds of years for the same fucking reason.
Channel's
For
go by
the
some merch
same
over at
fucking
thefatelectrician.com.
reason. I want to put also the channel. Like later, I'm gonna go in and put it as a comment on Armin's and put it into the description of mine, right? At all the Fox News and all that stuff. Like I'm putting it in the chat now, but later I'm gonna put it in the description, all right? So that they get their dues, all right? But right now, we're gonna switch over to open source intel to see what's been going on. All right, what has been going on? Okay. Well, let's see here. What do we have here? This is a new video appears to show Iran missile impact in Bahrain. This is an Iranian missile impact in Bahrain. Early geolocation by Faktus News suggests that the strike occurred in the vicinity of the U.S. Fifth Fleet headquarters. See that? All right. Bro, show the hit. What are you doing? What is this? Two missiles appear to have struck U.S. forces headquarters in Bahrain. Okay. This is Golubov. Golubov says America still hasn't learned that bullying, breaking promises are this is hypocritical. Are no longer cost free. Let me put it plain. If you strike, you'll get hit. Don't flail around pointlessly, or you'll sink even deeper. Sink even deeper. Like, isn't this a guy whose full fucking navy's at the bottom of the strait? The Strait of Hormuz will only open with Iranian arrangement, not American threats. Okay, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna get heated. And these people think we don't want to do it before the midterms. That's exactly what we want. Yeah, because they want to be able to collect a tax on the strait, so they can make money off every ship that passes, right? So they want to make a deal with the Omanis, the Qataris, I don't know who, like someone in there to start collecting this money, and they want to do it like, oh, you have to log into this place, blah blah blah. So that's been the problem. Akteke Khan Bridge attack on Iran Turkmenistan railway line. The Akteke Khan Bridge, located on the Inke Voron Turkmenistan railway route in western outskirts of Akkala city, Golestan province, has been attacked. Railway line has played a significant role for the Iran amid the recent naval blockade. Okay, I want to mark this. This is 1 hour ago in Besher province. Oof. Wow.
هوافظه چهارده که دوباره زدن الان داره تو آتیش میسوزه وحشتناک بودش و چیزی که منم دارم مثل همیشه هر اتفاقی میفته از کنارش عبور میکنم چقدر بدجور داره میسوزه.
All right, all right. Sirens have sounded in Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatari officials issuing threat alerts as Iran begins retaliatory strikes. Qatari authorities elevated security threat. Yeah, we know. They already got hit. This is earlier reports. All right. Let me see what else, if I see anything else on the news. Oh, I thought it was important to see this. You sell oil, motherfucker. What do you think is going to happen in Africa if you switch to energy and wind? They're all going to fucking die. What do you think is going to happen in every nation of the world if you get rid of oil? That's not the most carbon emissions. If carbon emissions were a problem, and that's debatable, the people that are doing it the fucking worst is fucking China. Fucking with us over what China does to the umpteenth degree is retarded. I'm just gonna say it like that. It's fucking retarded. Fucking tree-hugging pieces of shit. I hate environmentalists. Fucking hippies. They're terrible. Let me see what I find here. Let me see if I find something. CNN is just no. CNN has no updates. I'll check Fox. Look, guys, I don't see anything new from Fox on this. Everything I have is old. I think they're done till tomorrow. I think this will all be discussed tomorrow. I've gone about 34 minutes later than I should, but I wanted to celebrate the stream. I wanted to do it by talking about our history with war. Like, we were going to get into a little bit of the topic of the war, what's been going on, the strikes, but I also want to demonstrate the history that the United States Navy was reconstituted, not created. It was created first time for the Revolutionary War, but then it was disbanded and reconstituted to fight these fucking Islamic pirates. That's what the Marines are for. That's what the Navy is for. Like, you got to understand that the nation was built after the Revolutionary War, and that's when the real institutions are formed. So I want to thank you for being here. Here's my channel. If you want to subscribe, I appreciate it. We did a little sing a song, the little dance. We got down tonight. Down tonight. We're up to 526. We're halfway there, like Bon Jovi. I'm going to sing it a little bit. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Oh, living on a prayer. Thank you. We're living on a prayer. On my life, I pray for you. On God, we pray for you that you are healthy, that you are happy, that all your plans are blessed, all your homes are blessed, all your families are blessed, and everyone you love is blessed, and everything you touch. We just want to cover it all. All right? So many blessings and many thanks from me. You guys have yourselves a good night. Peace.